All right, welcome to Align Trading, taking a look at today's SPY recap and live analysis before going over what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members today was to be watching with the gap down that we had here in the morning that also closed this inverse cup right here at the previous day's lows, that you had to be paying attention to not only the lows but the 5-day moving average that was just above as well. And I explained that if we could not break down here and continue grabbing this liquidity right here, closing this larger inverse cup at this 579 level, then you did have to be paying attention to this inverse head and shoulder that could start to form right here off of that 5-day moving average and this liquidity that we built from yesterday. And you see how that is grabbed, breaking out of this yellow and blue controlled selling as well. You can see right there. So now we will go over this on the 1-minute chart and talk more about what you needed to see here with the green algorithm for this short with this handle off of that inverse cup. But you can see how we formed that support right here, and we're able to see this purple buying continuation off of that yellow and blue with that inverse head and shoulder that closed this cup back at Friday's highs, and then even went a bit higher here to this level that we have visited many times before, just before grabbing that liquidity to close the cup at Friday's high. So now on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms, it was a very choppy morning. Initially, we had this selling here in the morning that did crack this level from yesterday that I talked about being this low of day, forming that inverse cup, but you can see we could not continue, and there is this recovery right here. But I did explain that if you were looking for the short, you needed to be seeing this head and shoulder forming right here, and ultimately the inverse cup back to the low of day, whether we formed a handle, whatever we needed to do, but that did not form. And you can see how we start forming this inverse head and shoulder off of this 580.90 level. Now, hard trade to take right here as well within this unclear structure, but if you did take this off of that support, you can see right there is a tiny entry, and you would have been rewarded with this quick move up. So same thing here. I'm explaining if you are now looking for this short, you have to be seeing this head and shoulder starting to form right here, which you can see it looks like we are about to right here, but we need to be cracking this level right here again, closing that inverse cup, and then ultimately heading back to the low of day. And this is just controlled selling. Like I explained here, you can see this blue controlled selling algorithm, and if we start curving back up right here with that tapering that you can see as well, pay attention to this starting to form right here as we can start to close this cup and head up. So at this point right here, I'm explaining on the 30-minute chart that you have to be watching for this inverse head and shoulder and that 5-day moving average, as this can be starting to form right here as we are not heading down. And if we do head down, you will not miss it, right? Pay attention for that handle to be forming. So as we continue moving up, it is still very, very choppy within this, as you can see right here. And I'm explaining that I am on the sidelines, but you cannot be shorting this unless this starts to form right here, this larger head and shoulder, as well as losing this level, trying to form that inverse cup to low of day. Otherwise, right, that blue and yellow controlled selling is still in control. We can see this on the way up right here, and eventually we do start to form that inverse head and shoulder, as well as that cup right here, and continue moving up. Very, very nice move to the upside, but it just took too long to develop for me. Even right here, you can see that it forms this inverse head and shoulder. Nice entry there, and you could have caught this move to the upside, but I had already walked away from my setup and did not get involved in any of that towards the afternoon. Took almost 4 hours to get going with this controlled selling right here. I'm explaining on the 30-minute chart, you have to be paying attention to that right here. and you can see how we start to form that inverse head and shoulder. And even if you are looking to short this, you see a few red candles, right? We do not form that head and shoulder that you are looking for, and there is no reason to be shorting it. So after reaching that 5-day moving average, which was, I believe, around here, we get that push above it. And I explained that now from this point, if you are looking for the short, watch for us to form this inverse cup back to this 5-day moving average, which we end up doing very, very, very slowly. And this is still controlled selling, as you can see within this yellow and blue algorithms right here. And we are able to start to form that inverse cup back to the upside right here, trying to close that cup at the highs, but we run out of time and are unable to form this handle and do start to see this sell off towards the end of the day back to that 5-day moving average. With that at the end of the day, and this will be important for tomorrow as well, but I was explaining watch for this controlled selling back to that 5-day moving average and for us to once again form this inverse head and shoulder within that blue and yellow for that continuation to close the cup at these levels above. So now going over what to be watching into tomorrow, as I was explaining with this 5-day moving average right here, be watching. If you do want to short this, we have liquidity right here still, and we can look for that 5-day to become resistance and start heading down like this if we are still trying to form some sort of head and shoulder up here. Otherwise, we are now above it, and you can see that we can start to form within that blue and yellow I just mentioned, this inverse head and shoulder with that purple buying continuation, and so on as we continue moving higher and looking for that all-time high. You can see here that we are breaking out of this larger blue and yellow controlled selling right here, and with that 5-day moving average can start to see that break out like that. In order for us to break down, we need to be breaking out of this green and this white algorithm right here, which we did not down here at this 580.90 level. So if you want to see that right, then you have to look for the breakdown below this level if that inverse cup is closed, and from there can look for us to grab that liquidity. And the next level in the case that we do head down is that 20-day moving average, as I have talked about before, for this larger inverse cup. So same thing here with that 5-day moving average. You can see flattening 5-day. We're kind of chopping around in this range right here. Same thing that we are doing here. You have your range, but eventually, right, we bounce in between this 5-day until we look for that 20-day retest. So in the case that that does happen, look for that. We do have this rounded top, and we can see something like that form as this 20-day continues to catch up. But if we do hold the 5-day moving average, you can see that there is this possible flag happening right here that we continue to see on the way up. So pay attention to that, right? If this does continue to form, that is what you want to be seeing, as we have done in the past. So look for that upper Bollinger and 5 to continue trending up. That is all I have for the video, so thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.